Hello and welcome to the Legendary Ladies podcast. We are continuing our spooky season selections, or we are starting our spooky season selections, depending on when this is released. I think this is actually going to be released before our next episode, spoiler alert, which is 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Which we already recorded.
You can prepare yourself for it. We've already recorded it. So this
you can subscribe to the Patreon though,
and you can listen to it right now.
Right now, exactly.
And
Do a double feature.
And join us live. So we always do this thing where we all pick a movie. Cats was 10 Cloverfield Lane. Mine was Sinners. Although maybe it was everybody's. I think we kind of picked this movie as a group, but I'm going to take credit for it and responsibility. And I did really love this movie a lot.
It was re-released too, so it's being re-released on, I want to say, the 70 millimeter situation. So they're re-releasing it in like a new format. So
that's so cool. Yeah, it came out back in, I had to look it up, back in April, like mid-April, and it went crazy. Everybody loved this movie. I've never seen my like theaters around me so packed. We wanted to see it in like a non-packed theater, and we had to wait weeks to go see it in a theater that wasn't like fully packed. And we still had a pretty packed theater when we went to go see it.
Well, also it is the director of Black Panther, so like it was hyped up. It wasn't like a random movie.
And Michael B. Jordan, who people love.
Station.
What did you say, Amy?
Oh, I think my computer lagged and I unintentionally interrupted one of you. I don't know what.
Yeah, but where you were talking first, but then
Oh, no, the director, Ryan Coogler, is Black Panther. He's Fruitvale Station. I have almost every one of the films that I have seen by him, I have been absolutely floored with, and it is the very best of visual imagery. It is everything I love about a really well told like story, a very lyrical, beautiful, imagery filled story put on screen. It's just I love all of his work. But we'll get into Sinners in just a second. We'll keep going around the table here. I love this film, you guys.
So Morgan, you saw it a few weeks after. I think I want to say I probably saw it the week of.
I think you were like an early adopter, as you are for most movies.
For most,
with your ANC, what's it, A-list or Stubs or whatever it's called?
I do the A-list. I wish it was the other way around. Stubs is easier to say than like I'm an A-list member. But yeah, no, I was really excited for this movie. I love Michael B. Jordan. I like Haley Steinfeld. Yeah, and I obviously I love Black Panther, so I was just stoked for it. I will say it's a movie I normally wouldn't like. Like I don't really love, the movies in the past. I do like vampire movies, but I knew I was gonna like this one. And
it's historical fiction, Kat.
I know it is historical fiction, and I did like it.
We got her.
And the reason I think I like it so much is obviously there's a lot of commentary about race, but also I very, very much enjoy that it's a franchise. It's building. It feels like it's building to something, which is really fun too. Like this is part one of maybe a trilogy or whatever. And I think everyone played their parts really well. It's
Wait, are they making more of these?
If you watch the ending, I was
about to be like, what are you talking about?
If you watch the ending,
both post-credit scenes?
Yeah, when they're in like the 70s, like that's obvious that they're gonna make the 90s.
Yeah,
like that's obvious that they're gonna be making another movie for sure.
You think that?
I definitely think so.
I think that was the best epilogue ever. I think that was the epilogiest of epilogues.
I feel like that's definitely. Also,
I agree, Amy. I think that was like it's over.
What are they gonna call? Oh my god, though! But if they had a second one, they could call it Saints. I'm just saying, Sinners and Saints.
Oh, I like that.
And it's the origin of the Irish vampires.
I really felt like it was such a. I feel like there's such a cool sequel there, but no,
what?
I think I want to see them in another time. Like I feel like I want to see them in the 90s. I think that was fun.
But
so funny.
He's now just funny. Buddy Guy.
Well, I guess it would be
That's what I liked
about,
about it.
which Stack, right? It would maybe Stack and Mary as vampires?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I would have
No, they
thought.
died,
From Dusk
though.
Till Dawn vibe?
Did they
I
not die?
No, in the
Wait,
end.
what?
What are you talking about? In the end of the
Did-
movie?
We all
Didn't they
watch
burn
different
up when
endings.
their master burnt up? Wasn't he just like...
No, that's the whole
Wait,
that ending of the movie.
Amy, did you see the post-credit scene?
Yes, both of them.
Okay.
So
I thought he was hallucinating.
no, that was real. That's
that
what I'm
was
saying.
real.
But didn't they burn up and die? Did I?
No.
No,
They were inside the house.
they were inside the house.
That's why I was saying, like, I don't think it's that crazy that they make a sequel.
And the brother
Me being like,
had
I
let him
loved
go.
this movie, and failing to notice most of the film. But
That's why I was like, you saw them in that post credit scene.
I just assumed that he was hallucinating
No.
or like actively dying.
No. I
I
don't.
mean,
thi- I don't
maybe that
think
is
so.
what's fun about this movie is that
Shit. Hold on.
maybe that's the fun part of this movie is that you could say that you can make up your own ending. And I mean, that is something about this film in general is that there's a lot of things you can analyze and kind of like pick your own pieces at.
I was just looking up if there's going to be a Sinners 2.
I was
I
too.
think-
I see
I think
someone read it, but
It's a rumor, and I do see a Reddit thread, so take that with a grain of salt. That
exactly.
it's reportedly in development at Warner Brothers. I mean, I guess if you think about it, that movie made so much money that they are going to want to make another movie.
And it's a vampire movie. Like, why? And again, maybe they do decide this is a one and done, and they're like keeping to the craft of like, I want to tell this one story. I'm going to tell others.
Okay.
But like, it's a vampire. Like, why wouldn't you build more? In my
you could
opinion,
still do more. I mean, I
Very
would
Interview
listen.
with the Vampire
I would
style.
watch Sinners too,
Same.
but does it need it? No.
no,
Okay.
I don't think it needs it. But I think it's building a mythology that let's also be frank. There's not a lot of Black vampires.
Oh,
Like you have
no, yeah.
Blade. So like, why not build a franchise over it? Like that's something I really liked was like the lore of it. I thought it was really interesting to see the different story that we're getting that you can only tell with Sinners that you couldn't tell in Twilight, you know?
and
Very
the
different movies.
deep, like the deep rooted, the deep roots of Irish Catholicism in the way that the Irish vampires are made. Like the only time that he has an Irish accent the whole movie is when the Irish vampire starts saying the Lord's Prayer at the end. And he's talking about Irish Catholicism, and that was a huge deal. Like the struggle between quite literally Protestant and Roman Catholic faith is a major player in most history of the United Kingdom and surrounding islands. So it makes sense to me that I find it fascinating that we had all that religious metaphor going on in that moment. But going back to, I looked it up, and I will admit that for someone who just loved this film so much, I failed to note the ending. I also
that's
failed
why
to note
I
that
was
he
so
didn't kill
confused.
the guy. And here's why. I watched this 24 hours ago, which was really cool because it's still like fully in my brain. But when I finished it, it was really late at night.
Fair.
And I was very obsessed with the music. I cannot wait to talk about it. But I was not paying attention to that because I was looking up, oh my God, wait, who's the singer? Why do I know the singer? It's Buddy Guy. So while I'm looking up who the singer is, I clearly missed that.
You missed a couple of plot
They're
details.
standing there. I'm like, he's dead. Okay, cool.
He's hallucinating.
Missed it. Yes, completely missed it. Unfocused, texting while driving.
That's so funny. Yeah, I really, honestly, I'm a little jealous. I intended to rewatch this before we talked about it, and then I just didn't have the time. But yeah, I remember the ending because I thought the ending was really cool. But but I mean, that is an interpretation. I'm pretty sure they are actually there, like, though, in real
They
life.
are. I just Googled it. And
Yeah,
I was
yeah, for
right.
sure. And again, there's between the 30s and the 90s, there is story that could be told. I think there's definitely something that could be told there. But
And
we lost Morgan.
and there could be an interesting story being told of without their, let's call it head vampire guy, without their sire, the one who bit them, controlling their motives. I wonder if they're able to exist in a world where the need and the necessity to kill and eat blood is not, like, it doesn't drive them. That'd be interesting. I it's funny because I was watching this film and I was like, oh, I had no idea what to expect about this film. I had absolutely no
Do you
idea.
at
I
least know it
didn't
was like
watch a trailer.
vampires or
I knew it was horror. I didn't know it was
okay.
vampires. All I knew was that it involved the blues. That I knew. That it had a level of fedoras and
There's a high fedora
and there was
level.
horror. That's all I knew. I had no frame of reference of when the horror part was going to start, what it was going to be. And so it took me an embarrassingly long time to realize it was vampires. And by embarrassingly long, for me, I really should have known it immediately. It took me about 2.5 minutes. I should have known that the second he was walking around burning, that he was a vampire. And then once the crew came and they had to say, like, oh, the sun is setting, we need to go. I was like, ha ha, vampires.
Ah,
I was like,
vampires.
there we are, the vampires.
And that is something interesting about this movie. Again, what I was kind of saying earlier, it is a long movie, but I think it
Yeah.
utilizes its
So
time pretty well. Um,
I don't think I
which I
felt
was
the
surprised
length.
by.
I
No,
remember in the theater, I didn't feel like it was a
mm,
super long movie, which is a testament because it's over 2 hours, I think.
it's
yeah,
two
I think
hours
it's close
20
to 3
minutes.
hours. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's close to 3 hours.
Yes.
It reminded me not just from the length of how I felt watching like Killers of the Flower Moon because that's a really long movie too.
Mm,
But they explain a lot in that movie, and not in an exposition way, but like you're like kind of learning their narrative as it goes along, so you don't feel the 3 hours as much. This kind of felt similar in the regard of like they're exploring a mythos, so
tight.
but it's not explained to you like exposition. It's like you're exploring it with them. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really feel bored at all. And obviously, yeah, we could talk about the music as well. That this was not just exploration of being a vampire, but also music.
Yeah.
Especially like connecting to Black history with music. And I obviously a lot of people's favorite scene and my favorite scene too is when everyone gets like dance together and
Oh,
it's great.
Yeah, like the way
okay.
that music connects to history and
Mm.
culture and things like that is so cool the way that they did that in that one scene.
I I will venture to say, and it's been a long time since I've been able to truly say this. I think that this is one of my favorite movies that I have seen in a very long time. I have been watching a lot of television. I haven't really found any movies that have really grabbed me
Because you need a
recently.
letterbox. So
You
you
gotta you
will
gotta get on the
accomplish.
box.
It might have been because I had zero free time over the summer. I actually haven't even. I barely watched new TV. Anyway, thanks Shakespeare. Love it. Um, this movie is hands down probably my favorite movie I've seen this year. Arguably one of my favorites I've seen, like top tier film for me in general. But that sequence that you guys are talking about, which is not only a stunning sequence with a gorgeous story, beautiful music, but it's also a single shot sequence. So from a directorial standpoint, a cinematographic standpoint, from the musical standpoint, from the musical standpoint, it is an extraordinary scene. And I remember just sitting there like actually clapping in my room watching this film. And it's been a very long time since a movie has brought that sort of visceral reaction from me,
Well,
even television. I've only been getting that from stage recently, and there was such a brilliant storytelling in this whole sequence and series, and I love the blues. Could I name you classic blues singers? No. genuinely can't. But absolutely, every time I hear the blues, I love it. And it's just it captivates me. So that whole sequence was beautiful. Ludwig Göransson, who incidentally was also the musician for Black Panther, or the
Oh,
composer for the
really?
Black Panther. I was like, very quickly, I'm like, this is familiar music, because he plays such an integrity and an honesty in his tributes to the various cultures that he is talking about when he's creating his composing and his score. He's perfect, and he has done a lot of stuff with Coogler, actually the director. I was looking it up. In addition to Black Panther, which I knew about, he also did the music for
Oh,
Creed
yeah, he
and
did the
Fruitvale Station.
both
Which
the
have
Creed
you guys
movies.
seen Creed? Because I love Creed.
No.
No, I
Yeah.
really need to. I feel like I would really like it. It's been on my list for a while.
It's interesting because I saw Creed 3 first, because I heard it was really good, and I was like, it was my AMC, I was had my AMC, so I'm like, let's see it. And I was like, damn, this is like really good. And I turned to Phil, and he hates sports movies. He's just not a fan.
Mhm.
But he really liked it, and he's like, oh, because like it felt more than a sports movie. And I was like, okay, if I could get the person who hates sports movies like it, I'm glad he liked it. And it was directed by Michael B. Jordan. But I then
Whoa.
watched the first one. And I was like, oh, it's interesting because I didn't really need to, because it's based on Rocky. So like,
Yeah, yeah.
if you know a little bit about Rocky, you could catch up on the film. But it kind of, I won't say self-contained. Obviously, you get more information if you watch the first movie, but you're not lost if you just watch the third. So yeah, Creed's great. I really recommend. Again, Michael B. Jordan in anything, and also he's a big comic fan actually. So I don't know if you guys
Yeah,
heard that, but he's
yeah.
like a very very big comic fan. Like goes to the comic book store type comic
And
fan.
like an anime guy too, if I remember
Yeah.
right. Yeah, he's
Which
cool. He seems
he
cool.
based on Creed 3 actually. So there's this big sequence at the end of the big battle,
Mhm.
and he said he based it all on anime.
That's amazing. That's really funny.
So I thought that was cool. But yeah, Morgan, why don't you talk about what are things that you enjoyed about it? What was something that was like, oh man, this is what the reason why I picked to talk about it.
Yeah, no, I think that this Sinners is so interesting and so inventive. I feel like obviously I'm a vampire person from way back. I grew up like watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I've watched a ton of vampire media, and I really do feel like this one is so unique. It's kind of a vampire movie second, and a movie about like a time and a place first, I would say. And I really like the characters. I think that the characters are so well done. Like the vampire stuff doesn't even really pop off until like the second half of the movie. There's like probably just an hour where they're setting up the joint, where we're meeting all the characters and learning all of the different interactions between them. And I think that that stuff is really necessary to the feel of the movie, to getting you really invested in these people and their relationships and how they interact, so that when the vampire stuff starts popping off, in the middle, you're really like invested in what's going to happen to these people.
Yeah, and I like, again, I agree. I like the relationships that were set up. I really like Haley's character because at first you're like, oh man, like what do you mean? Like she's like has a little black in her, and then I searched it during the movie, and I'm like, wait, she really does. And then that's the whole story, is this idea of like, where are you as a person or whatever. And I thought that was really interesting. Again, I think another director would have been like, let's just tell this story with like a white person. And I thought that was really interesting from Haley's like standpoint. I was just like, oh, that's such an interesting story that I didn't expect from that actor. But that's really cool about like passing and telling this whole
Yeah.
story about it.
Yeah, I liked that they brought that aspect of that into the story, this idea of passing, and what that means for her, and what that means for her relationship with Stack, and how that kind of means that in some ways that it's hard for them to be together. And I really liked those two characters a lot. I really liked their relationship. We talked about the ending a little bit, but yeah, getting to see them as really cool vampires at the end was awesome. The movie really does end tragically, I would say, for most of the characters,
Yeah.
spoiler alert,
Yeah.
most of them don't make it. So to see two characters from that, who did make it, even if they're vampires, kind of bad vampires now, they looked cool. They looked like they were having a cool time in the 90s, and I was happy for them.
I thought the Irish villain was very interesting too, from the musical
Yes.
standpoint, but also like the type of villain you would have with like an Irish person that's not, like I think again, I can't speak on it, but I think with the colonialism and all that, like picking an Irish person, I think was the most interesting villain you could have for a white villain. So it's just like, oh, that's something different. And again, I like that this movie reverts your expectations of what you think the story is going to be, and tells a real narrative that only this movie could tell, which I really appreciate.
I like that we finally, towards the end, we start to understand his motivation, the Irish vampire, where the whole film is about fellowship and community. And he is literally trying to sell them on the fact that this is a fellowship, this is a community. You are going to be able to join us where we are the strongest. And there, you think about the history of Irish gangs, and you think about history of just the like you're talking about, Kat, with colonialism in general, and the struggle, the Fenian struggle and the Irish struggle. There's a lot of times where community is the one thing that kept the Irish people together. And this, I mean, community in general, and the three of us as three like white people are not ever going to be able to fully understand the value of the Black community in the way that the other African American folks can when they watch this film, or the people who were in the film and making the film. But as a viewer, it brings you so deeply into that world that you feel a part of it, and just for a little bit you understand what this culture and community is. And it's so brilliant and it's so beautiful. But I love that for all all the community that they have, the Irish guy, he says, I can give you more. And they're tempted. They're like, oh, this might be kind of nice, guys. We could do it and be the strongest ones. He's like, you could not only be a part of a community that's like really cool and has great hair and really good singing, but you could be the strongest. You could defeat all your enemies. Why wouldn't you want that? And it's meant to be tempting. And I thought it was a really, really well done sequence, and why he's trying to explain why he's doing what he does. And then at the end, when he tells Sammy, he's like, I just want your stories. I want what you know. I want the ability that you have to summon all of these stories from hundreds of generations. And if you think about a vampire, for all we know that he's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, he's seen it all, except for the things that he can't see, like the future. And so I could understand why he's like, I want more.
I also think historically it's an interesting film when it comes to movie making, because I remember one of my friends in one of my TV writing classes, he was like always talking about having a Western with a Black lead. He was kind of like obsessed with it. He really liked that concept. And you're like, oh yeah, why wouldn't that happen as often? And it's really cool to see. Obviously, like a lot of filmmaking was based on these Westerns, and they were really big at a certain time. So to see a modern Western from this point of view, I think is really special, from, again, just a filmmaking thing.
It's got Western, it's got the gangster vibes.
Yeah.
Not the gangster vibes. What's the word I'm looking for? Like the
No,
Al Capone
mob?
vibes.
Yeah,
That's gangster.
They talk
Yeah,
a lot
that is right.
about things back in Chicago. I feel
Al
like
Capone.
anytime you see like something set in that time period and they're talking about Chicago, I'm like, oh, gangsters, get out your Tommy guns. And I think, I think that they one of the things I really like about this movie is how it melds genres. Like you said, that there's the Western, there's a little, little hint of the gangster, there's the vampire stuff in it. There's so many things that are going into this romance into the soup of this movie, and it all comes together so beautifully. Just kind of like that scene where he's singing and we see all the different cultures like melding together. I think, the way that they bring in different genres is really works really specially together.
And somehow doesn't feel like a hodgepodge, because obviously I
Yeah.
think a
Yeah.
lesser filmmaker would have had all these ideas and it would be a complete mess, because it's like, well, there's all these ideas. How are you supposed to do it all in one movie? And I think that's what Sinners succeeds at, is that they do this all in this one movie, and somehow it works in this very long movie. You know, it's again almost 3 hours, and it somehow all works and it keeps your attention. And yeah, I agree. It is one of my favorite movies of the year because it feels so unique and it felt like an experience. And I'm so glad that people saw it, and now it's being re-released. And I think it'll be a movie that a lot of people remember, which is great too, because that's the power of movie making, right? If you can have a movie that lasts a lifetime, and you did something right.
It also really intrigues me as a historical fiction. And Kat, this is something where you and I usually differ. Is you're not always historical fiction just doesn't do it for you,
Yeah.
whereas modern stuff just doesn't always do it for me. And there's an innate fascination I have with back then, so to speak. Mostly because it introduces me to something that I had no idea about, and it immediately piques my curiosity. I start looking things up. The number of times I paused to look something up real fast because I was like, "Wait a second, what the quota they're on?" I was like, "God, this sounds familiar to me." Oh, it's called sharecropping. This is the entire terrible loop that emancipated slaves got trapped in the South after the Emancipation Proclamation, where they basically became stuck in enforced trafficked labor at that point, where they, quote, made money, but only
And they talk
with
about
plantation
script.
dollars.
Yeah, I was about
Yes,
to say
and their
they talk
plantation
about
coins.
yeah, that's a big part of the movie is they are accepting script in their new bar, and they realize like, how are we going to make money with this, because
Yeah,
it's
not
not
money.
real money. Yeah, you know, it's a closed system. They had
Mhm.
created a way to create a closed system where the money can't escape the system, right? Like, it's pretty nefarious.
It's fascinating, that, and like the general prevalence of like Annie's character. There is witchcraft. Like, there is a set amount of witchcraft in this film, and they 100% believed it. Her casting the bones, her making that that charm for him. Like, this is true stuff. They were dead convinced that this is true. And you know, I don't know, maybe witchcraft is real. Who knows? But I mean, I think I know. Anyway, that's
That the actress who played Annie was also great. I
She
think
was
she
so
was
good.
in I want to say Lovecraft country.
Okay.
And so when I saw her pop up here, I was like, "Oh my god, I love her already."
I was rooting for her. I wanted her to
Me
survive.
too.
I liked her
I
vibe.
know.
It was sad to
But
see.
I also, like, for just a second, this film was hot. Like, from a romance perspective, like,
Sure.
the whole scene where like they're in her like little witchy shed and
Oh,
they're getting
yeah.
it on, and the music, I was like, whoo, this.
Can you
will,
believe
like,
Michael B.
I
Jordan's one
love it.
person and he played two?
I
I
know.
actually
Sexy
didn't
with
know that
both.
for 20
You didn't
minutes.
know that? You didn't
For
realize?
20
Oh.
minutes, I was like, wait a second. Is this
How is he
actually, does he
everywhere?
have twins? Well, I was like, maybe I'm like, maybe they have really good casting. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, hot damn. So,
Oh, I
No,
thought you
he
just thought
is
it was
one
like
person.
I thought you just thought it was like one character and he was just like everywhere in the movie.
no. I just thought that
You'd
they were
seen him
two
side by
really,
side.
really well.
Yeah.
I thought it was just really
They
good
kept changing
casting.
his name.
He did
I'm
he
like,
went like
Orphan
he
Smoke,
did a
Orphan
full
Stack?
Orphan Black.
Yeah.
I believed him as both of the different characters, which I think is honestly not that easy to do, is to play two different characters in the same movie and
Who
also to
also
play
look
opposite
kind of
yourself.
and also
Mhm.
kind of look
Oh,
a little
yeah.
similar with Orphan Black. Like, from what I understand, they wore a lot of crazy wigs
That's
and they
true.
looked
Yeah.
very different. Like, here, like, they looked like brothers, you know?
Yeah, I
There
think
were
the
a
different
couple
like
points where I got confused.
yeah,
But for the most
I think in
part,
Orphan Black, like the different hairstyles and the different way that they like go like dressed and stuff would help probably Tatiana Maslany like get
Mm.
into character and be like, okay, now I'm this character, now I'm this character. But yeah, to your point, both Smoke and Stack kind of they dress similar. They, you know, they
Mhm.
kind of had the same vibe. So but you can always tell which one's which I
I
think is
agree.
really a testament to his acting.
No, I definitely agree. He was great.
I lost track a little bit, but for the most part, I kept track. It's so it's just such a well done film, and like there's so much to talk about. Like even the sequence at the beginning where he goes into that little town and they meet all the different stores and they meet the Chinese couple. Like I loved that story. I loved just everything about this was so brilliantly done. And I think what it shows is how much they sat down, and they probably went through 7, 8, 9 drafts of the script before they even started shooting, and it was so tight and it was so well done and everything served a purpose. The music was wonderful. It was just ultimately an absolutely astounding film. I loved everything about Sinners.
I wanted to see how long it's been in development. I don't know if I could find it.
I think it was somewhere in the Wikipedia page. This is a great question. Oh, you know what? It might have only been in development since
That's what it
2024,
says, which is crazy.
which is nuts to think
insane,
about.
actually.
That's a very fast turn. I mean, I guess Ryan Coogler can probably write his own checks at this point. With
it
how
feels
well
like such a passion project, you know. It feels
it
like, oh yeah,
does.
this is the thing I wanted to tell forever. But it's like, yeah, just like I'll come up with something I want to say. You know?
And just outside of the movie being so excellent, it's so nice to see a movie that isn't a comic book movie, isn't a franchise film, blow up the way that Sinners did, basically just because it's a really good movie and through word of mouth. Like people, people
and
obviously the director is huge. The act, Michael B. Jordan is a big star.
Because also think about Weapons. I think that's kind of crazier too. Because you have what's his face who did Barbarian. That was like real word of mouth because he wasn't as big of a name. And then Weapons came out. People were like, you gotta go see this movie. Sinners, I think Ryan Coogler at least has been such a big name that it's like it's a Ryan Coogler movie. It's like watching a Quentin Tarantino movie. You're like, I gotta see it because it's Quentin Tarantino. But I think Weapons surprised me a little bit more this year when it came to that because it's just like, wait, now he's becoming like I don't think he is Ryan Coogler, but he's becoming a name director. He's like becoming a Quentin Tarantino.
But yeah, like we're doing our spooky season, but I do feel like horror is one of the few genres right now that can open a big original movie. Instead of something that's tied to an IP, tied to something else, a sequel to something.
That's a really solid point. So, Kat, maybe I'm thinking about something different, and I'm wondering. Is Weapons a part of the Barbarians world?
No, it's just
same director.
What is Weapons about?
I can't tell you without spoiling it, but it's about these kids who go missing, and you follow different people to find out what happened to these kids.
Okay.
That's all I could say. There's a
character what kind of horror is it though? Is it psychological?
Don't
is
say
it body
more.
horror? Is it?
No, it's not body horror at all. No, I would say it's more thriller. Yeah.
Okay.
It's more of a mystery.
Well, now I'm gonna have to watch it. Why?
That's why I was like, oh, why are you so
like Barbarians? Maybe because I thought it was at the same realm.
I think because it might be too much for you where it ends up going. I feel like I think you get overwhelmed by it. I think personally, maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's too much tension.
There's a lot of I watched it. I rewatched it again this year with Mike, with my husband, and he hadn't watched it with me the first time. And the first half of the movie, and Kat will know what I'm talking about. He was like, "I don't know, man. I don't know." Like when they're down in the basement, he was like, "Is it?" He turns to me, "Is it like this the whole time?" And I was like, "I can confidently tell you, no, it's not." But like the first part of the movie does get really tense, I would say.
And then maybe kind of tense of a mystery towards the end. Solve, or is it the kind of tense?
I will say it's impossible for you to solve unless you looked up a spoiler. You cannot know what happens next.
I think going into Barbarian blind is like the most fun you could possibly have. That's what
you should watch it. Honestly, like if you're looking for a scare.
No, I mean maybe I don't know. I like horror that I can figure out.
The thing I liked about Barbarian is just like structurally the movie's kind of inventive, and I don't want to say more than that, but like I was like, whoa, what is happening? I remember texting Kat afterwards and being like, you were right.
And Weapons has a similar feel of tension, but Barbarian's like off the charts. Like Weapons, it relies on a mystery for sure, and I'll say, and I will not spoil anything, I am surprised you haven't been spoiled, Morgan. That's all
I know.
I'll say.
It's amazing. It's amazing that I've managed to duck this for months now.
Because I think it's been right in front of you. You haven't seen it. I think that's what's really interesting.
I'm sure once I watch it, I'll be like, but yeah, like I haven't. I was waiting for it to get released on streaming, so I could like watch it at home. So I don't have to. So I didn't have to be like this in the theater. I don't like. I notoriously don't like things that are too gory.
There's no gore. Like
I think there's only like a couple parts. Probably
there's not a gory movie. It is definitely more about the mystery, and I'll say there's a different creepy factor. But from what I know, what you like, Morgan, you will not care about the creepiness of this. And same thing for you, Amy. If you wanted to start with Weapons, and then you're like, I like that,
and then
you should go to Barbarian.
Okay, go backwards.
Yeah, because like Barbarian is the only movie I've ever been scared of. It is genuinely a really, really scary movie.
It's pretty scary. Yeah, like Mike was literally like, at one point in the movie, he was like, "Is the whole thing like this?" And I was like, "No, it's okay. The whole thing isn't like this." But I think I will say, Sinners can be similar if you go into it without knowing anything about it. Because I told my mom, "Oh my God, Sinners was so good. You have to see it." And when it came out on streaming, my mom and her boyfriend watched it, but they had no idea. And she was like, it was a vampire movie. Because the vampires again don't come in, which I think is really smart and really clever, until like halfway through. If you don't know it's a vampire movie, you think it's just kind of like a period piece about music and community, you know? Yeah. And then all of a sudden they're vampires, and you're like, wait, what's happening? And I really like the way that they did that. Where I remember early on when it started getting popular, I was seeing a lot online of people being like, go in without knowing what it's about. Try to go in without spoiling yourself. And unfortunately,
brilliant.
Oh, that's amazing.
You didn't? Oh, yeah, no, I had no idea. I didn't know what the horror part was. And as I'm watching for the first hour, I'm like, what's the horror?
You're like, you know what? This isn't so bad.
I'm like, it'll happen eventually, I'm sure. But one of my friends at work, because I had told them I was watching it for the show, and everyone was like, oh, you're going to love it. It's so good. And I was like, is it scary? And they're like, no, it's more like a thriller. So I was already sort of prepped for the fact that it wasn't going to be
more
scary.
Character works. Like, again, when I'm thinking thriller, I'm thinking Weapons, like, or 10 Cloverfield Lane. This is more of like mythos, I would say. Like, that's the best way to put it. It's like mythos building,
supernatural
and
horror.
Supernatural is a good one as well.
It's got the supernatural bit to it, which I think if someone had sold it to me as supernatural horror, I would have really I would have watched this months.
I feel like you were scared of this movie or in Weapons. You're like, should we? I don't know.
No, Sinners I knew I was gonna love.
Okay, maybe it was Weapons. You're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Weapons is not that bad.
It was a sequel to Barbarians, so I didn't realize it's not in the same universe. So now I'm inclined.
No, it's just the same director.
Although
what's really interesting about that movie, just to give one tidbit for when you watch it, Morgan, or if you ever watch it, Amy, they actually rewrote it all. They changed all the actors. They changed a lot of the story because they had to recast everyone because of COVID. They only had one actor the same.
And they lost Pedro Pascal, I believe, was
they lost him for Materialist.
It was supposed to be in that, and then I guess because of all the setbacks with it COVID? It was COVID.
Yeah, COVID was the setback.
It took 5 years to get going, and Sinners, they're like, yeah, we can do it in 16 months.
Well, and it's interesting because
Ryan Coogler's like, I want to do this, and they're like, okay,
sure,
the money
you'll
here.
Make money.
The money here it is.
And it shows about the director though, because Barbarian was a sleeper hit. People didn't know that was going to be good, right? No one knew that movie was going to be successful, and it was only successful in streaming. When it was out in theaters, no one saw it besides me.
They
and
also
like a
dropped
handful of
it with like
people.
no promotion in the middle
Yeah.
of January. Like whenever they drop a horror movie in January, that's usually a bad sign.
We
Either
only
of
go
the
on, go on,
quality
Marty.
of the movie or how the studio feels like the movie's gonna do.
The only reason we saw it, and I think I've told you the story before, is that Julius, Phil's partner, is a really big fan of Miss March, a movie that is really, really bad. He loves it because it's a horrible movie about this guy who ends up in a coma and finds out his girlfriend works like for Playboy, and he goes on like a mission to find her, and it's like a really bad comedy movie. But it's
so dumb.
The comedy duo is called The Whitest Kids You've Ever Known, and he is the director of Barbarian, and he made Weapons because his friend from that comedy duo died, and he made the movie about grief from that movie.
Oh wow! I think I had read that about that, and I saw like one of the what's their comedy troupe called? It was like the
Whitest Kids You Ever Known.
I saw one of their like sketches, which was like kitty history, and it's just like it's like kittens doing all these terrible things, exactly like ours. But yeah, I had read that, but I didn't realize that he had done some other movie, but that I didn't realize that was why you went to go see it. That's so funny.
We went to go see it because it was like almost an inside joke that we went to go see it because like it wasn't on our radar. It's just like, oh my God, that guy who made that movie, let's go see it. And then it ended up being really good. And I'm glad it caught on streaming. But the same thing for Weapons. The reason I was saying that is that he was just this indie guy, right? That's the reason Weapons took so long, because people didn't know Barbarian is going to be so great. His next movie, I'm sure, is going to be released a little quicker because obviously Weapons did so well. But yeah, Ryan Coogler, he's been doing it for a while. So he's like, I want to make a movie. I'm going to make a movie. And it's going to be great.
I think they knew it was going to make money, but I don't think that they knew it was going to make as much money as it made because it was just booking out theaters. They were bringing it ran in theater in a time when things run in theaters for like 2 weeks, it feels like, and then are immediately on streaming. It ran in theaters for months. I remember like months later, like being like, Sinners is still out.
Well, I should mention that he also like owns all the rights, I want to say. So
that's
like
one
awesome. Of the few, like that he made that deal because, and that's why I don't think people thought it was going to do as well as it did. But he like made a deal where he owns like a lot of this movie. So that's why I also thought it would be a franchise because he could do a lot with it. He can make a comic, he can make a show, like he could do. He can do whatever he wants with it. But I also did see an interview that he doesn't want to do anything else with it. But it's interesting that that was a big deal he made, was that it like changed movie deals, the way he made this deal.
Oh, wow.
I am a firm believer, and I truly, some of my all-time favorite books, movies, and series are the one and done.
Yeah.
There are so many of them where I wish they hadn't continued, where I wish they hadn't tried again or done a spinoff, because I find myself getting more and more disappointed. It's like Downton Abbey. You don't ever need to do a spin-off of Downton Abbey. You've got it. There are so many other stories you can tell, but you have told the beautiful story. You don't need to do another Godless from Netflix.
Amy, did you see Downton Abbey, the final chapter? This is not on.
No, not yet. Not yet, but I'm really excited for the new series coming out called The Forsyths.
Ooh.
It's got Eleanor Tomlinson from Poldark.
Oh, cool.
Did you watch Poldark?
A little bit. I never finished it.
Me neither.
I think I watched like the first season.
I watched the first two.
I should go back to the Ryan Coogler thing because the deal is very interesting. He will eventually own all the. No, it's interesting. He will eventually own all.
Cat's like, no Poldark.
No Poldark. He'll eventually own all the rights to Sinners in 25 years. Like he'll own all the rights, and then he gets, as part of the deal, also receives a final cut of the film and first dollar gross profit, meaning he gets share of the revenue before the studio recoups its costs. So he makes money off it, and then 25 years later from now, he fully owns all of it.
That's amazing. Maybe he's like, I don't want to make a sequel yet.
Well, yeah, right? I just thought that was really interesting.
I agree with what Amy said. Like sometimes there is like a diminishing return sometimes to sequels. Sometimes they're great, but sometimes they're not good. And then sometimes them being not good taints the feeling of the original when you watch it and you're like, oh, too bad that sequel was bad.
No,
and the way to ensure that that's not the case is just to not make a sequel to something sometimes. So
especially because we know it was all a hallucination.
We know everyone's actually dead.
What you don't know is
I think that's
But
gonna start. Oh,
I would argue,
mhm.
if you really, really want to go for it, you could argue that his magic guitar,
Sure.
which has the ability to bring characters from the past and present into the real world, he could in fact just be bringing Mary and Stack back from the
There you go.
past.
That's
Which
the
But
case
they
take.
he's
had, but they had those cool
hallucinating.
90s threads on though.
The stack. That was good. That's
um,
my theory.
I love your theory. I think it's great. It holds up for sure.
Oh, for sure.
I think before we wrap up, any last thoughts on Sinners, which we all obviously really liked.
Go see
I
it.
cannot wait to download the soundtrack. Like again, I
Ooh.
listened to this. I watched this 24 hours ago. I am going to be listening to the score and the soundtrack. I'm actually going to do it literally right now. I'm on my Amazon Music. Let's go.
It's so good. The music is such a big part of the movie, and it does such a good job of like telling the story. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they did it. They did a great job with that as well.
I
So
agree.
I think that's all we have to say about Sinners. We all loved it. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. It's a great spooky season movie. So as we wrap up, Amy, where can the people find you? Do you have anything going on? Any projects?
You know, I am taking a break. Woohoo! I am sleeping by 10 o'clock every night. It's delightful. You all can find me on Instagram, Amy_hip. That's Amy_HYP. My dog turns 10 years old in December.
Oh,
So I'm
what a
spending a
little
lot of time
gentleman.
with him. So yes, he's if you're watching on our YouTube channel, he's a very, very what a distinguished gentleman
What a
sitting on my
guy.
bed right now.
What a guy.
But he's as he's getting older, I want to make sure that I spend a lot of time with him. So I think on Saturday we're gonna go to the beach. The other day we went and got
Aw.
gelato.
Oh, he'll love that.
He loved a gelato.
What a life! What a life! Kat, how about you? Any Kickstarters going on?
Oh, my dog is 1 years old and she's just sleeping, and
Aw.
we're not hanging out right now 'cause she's all the way over there and she's tired because it's 12:30 here. But yeah, I think witching season will still be out. So it's an anthology with Morgan in it, and if you like horror and witches, it's all different horror stories about witches. So go check that out.
Yep, you should definitely check out Witching Season because, as Kat mentioned, I have a story in it. Very exciting. You can also check me out as a co-host on Supergirl Radio, where we've been going through a bunch of different Supergirl comics right now at the moment. So you should definitely join us and follow along. All right. Well, I think.
And
Oh,
can
go
we
ahead.
give a preview of what we're planning?
Sure.
We will be doing a pilot pod for the Netflix series The Diplomat, which I have watched all 3 seasons for and I'm absolutely obsessed. And I'm genuinely really curious to see how these two are going to do with a political thriller. So we're going to do pilot pod for The Diplomat because season 3 is just rocking it on Netflix. And then once it comes out on Netflix, my spooky season pick, which will be right at the beginning of November, is Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. This should surprise
Frankenstein.
exactly nobody.
I'm
We'll
excited.
be watching it. It's on Netflix at that point.
What's funny is I'm actually, based on the trailer, currently lukewarm.
Ooh.
I'm not.
And you chose this for
sure.
us to watch.
Ooh, what if the twist is that
I
you
did,
don't
but
like
here's
it?
The thing. The Penny Dreadful Frankenstein plot was so spectacularly well done and well acted. I've yet to find a Frankenstein besides Benedict Cumberbatch on the stage at the West End that I have enjoyed more than the Penny Dreadful one. So
The Penny Dreadful one is really good. Yeah.
really
I haven't seen any, so I'm
beautiful.
going in real dark. Yeah.
You
So
haven't,
Do you-
you're like I haven't seen no
Did you read the
Frankensteins.
book?
no. I read Dracula, but I've never read Frankenstein.
I actually have somehow read neither of them, which is crazy because Frankenstein
had
kind
to
of was
read
the
it for
beginning of
school.
of a lot
Huh,
of
but you know what? I've
fantasy
not
and
read it
sci-fi.
as an adult when I didn't have to finish like certain chapters by a certain date. So maybe I'll read it as an adult for
I
fun.
wish they made it. I wish they made us read Frankenstein in school.
I read it in college. It was part of my college
Oh,
curriculum.
that's
I
awesome.
read
It was part of
Dracula in
class.
college too. I did. We almost
Really?
read Frankenstein, or maybe we almost read Dracula in high school, and then I went to a Catholic school, so it didn't Didn't happen.
They weren't making you read. They weren't making you read Dracula. You
No,
know what? I
sadly.
went to a Catholic school and they made us read the Portrait of Dorian Gray. So
Really?
yeah,
How interesting.
I think
We
the
did.
closest
We did
we've
Grapes of
gotten
Wrath.
to like a good book that I was like, wow, I'm surprised I read that in high school was the Kite Runner. That was the closest.
Oh.
Yeah, which
Oh.
is I was surprised that somehow
That's-
we got to read
I
that.
feel like that's more modern than I'm usually used
Yeah.
to for a high school like English class.
Got to
I
read
got
that
to
one.
read the Grapes of Wrath was good. The Heart of Darkness, which is weird because it was one of those ones where I liked sequences of it, but I loved bits of it. It was just so good to dissect, and I was the total class snob at the front of the class talking for 20 minutes, and everybody else was I'm convinced everybody else in the classroom was either like, this bitch, or they're like, oh, thank God for this bitch keeping her busy and occupied.
I'll say
Yeah.
that
She
if
would
I
have
was
conversations with me.
if I was in your class, I would very much be happy that you saved me from having to talk. So I think most people are like, thank God. They got someone
I
else
hope
who
she
wants
has
to.
more
Shut up.
opinions.
She has more opinions. And this is why we podcast.
Exactly. Now we just share our opinions with all of you. I think so. I think that is going to do it for our episode of Sinners, but we have some fun stuff coming up, as you can tell. So until then, stay legendary.